Okay. So in real time, our offices, right, our company will procure a enterprise version of this GitHub. Now, who are all part of our company, they'll have access to GitHub. So it doesn't look like github.com. Our company name.github.com. Like that it looks. Okay, our company name.github.com, because that is the enterprise version. Now it is paid version, so they have to pay that for each repository, right? Or some people like that, there will be different charges they have to pay. Now, if I means if our company takes a GitHub account, everyone will have access to that GitHub, right? Now I want to divide that into groups. It is very hard. Like there are 10,000 people or 1 lakh people in my company. Everyone has a GitHub account. Who are part of which team, which department? We will be very confused, right? So there will be different departments again in the company, right? Like different sectors wise, like that. I want to divide the people, right? So that how we divide here is based on organizations, right? If there are 10,000 people, right, if there are 10 departments in my company, I'll create 10 organizations. So how to create organization is like this. I'll go here, create new organization. This is like again a group. So I'm grouping few people here. So new organization, I'm clicking on here, new organization. It is saying that there are different versions. The planning, the payment will be made like this. So for this organization, if I'm creating 10 organizations, right, so the billing will be different for each organization. So this organization, for example, I'm creating a organization now, a department. For a department, I'm creating a organization here. So whoever part of this, if I take this plan, this is free. Okay, if I take this plan, for example, so they are giving like this, everything included free. Whatever is there in free, it will come here along with that multiple reviewers and pull requests. They are giving something. They are going to charge $4 per user per month. If I'm adding 10,000 users, sorry, if I'm as total I have 10,000 users, I'm adding 1,000 users in 1,000 users in this organization. For each user, we have to pay $4 per month. If I take this, $21 we have to pay per user per month. We have to pay if we take this. Okay. So now like this. So if I'm creating 10,000, 10 organization for 10,000 users, 10 organization, each organization will have 1,000 users. The billing will be different for this department, that department will pay. Like this, there are different scenarios where they divide into organization. For now, let's take this free one because we don't want to use this. If you take this is monthly, if you take yearly, like $4, right? So here also billing yearly is 48 per user, they are saying. Okay, yearly basis. So there are different plannings. This is team, but this is enterprise plan, we call it as. So for now, we'll take it as free one, where we'll create, if we create organization, under that organization, we can create unlimited public and private repositories, unlimited. 2,000 automation minutes per month, right? Next, 500 MB packages store, free for public repositories. 500 MB we can store. New issues and project metadata, community support, but here only community support. Here we'll get good support. So for now, I'm going security wise, everything is same, but extra we get here. But for now, I'm creating this free organization. Okay, I'm creating a free organization. It has created. What is the name of the organization? Right. So batch 22. Batch 22. So contact email. Okay, I'll give a Chaitanya email only. It will not charge you. Don't worry, Chaitanya. Okay, I'm going to give his mail ID. I don't have it here. Okay, so this is Chaitanya student account, right? Let me give him account only. So this is for personal or like business, my personal, right? So now it is asking to verify. So we know, right, that why it asks, right? Because to check whether you are a robot or a human. Okay. Now my organization is created. My organization is created. I want to add someone to this organization. So this is a group. Organization is a group. Who is the owner? Chaitanya is the owner. Only he is part of that. I want to add some other users also. If I don't add users here, they cannot see the repositories I create under this organization. So this is an organization. For example, my company has 10,000 users. So for 10,000 users, I'm creating 10 organizations. Under each organization, 1,000 users will be there. How I'm dividing this 1,000 users? Just not because number 1 2,000 in this, next 1,000 this, next 1,000, not like that. Based on project wise, we have like 100 projects we have. So the people who supports the first 10 projects, for them I'm creating one organization. I'll add that 1,000 users here. Under this organization, I'll create repositories for the 10 projects. Repositories for the 10 projects. Okay, so for now, let me complete the setup. Just let me complete the setup. It is asking for the password. Just a second. Again, I have to open it. I have it. Okay. Okay, so that is done. That is done. It is asking. So what you have to do? It is asking few questions. If it is asking few questions, just for their metrics and all. If you want to, you can answer. Okay, it is answerable. Okay, write code, not write code. Just okay, anything you can select, or else like you can give something, practice, explore. How many people, like 1 to 5? How many people uses open source projects or personal projects? Okay, manage code, right? Or collaborate code, you can select this also. Next, do you have any existing repository for your projects? No, submit. Just some metrics they are taking. That's it. My organization has been created. How many people are part of this organization? Only one. Okay, first I'll come to this. Let me create a repository now. New repository. Now you observe here, earlier we had only this option. But now it is showing organization as well. This is your username. So when you are creating a repository, you can, if it is a personal repository, you can create under username. But you want in your team, multiple people has to collaborate. So we have 10 organizations. You are part of one organization, this organization. There are 1,000 users, right? So 1,000 users in that are supporting like 10 or 20 projects. So we are creating one repository. Okay, so where I want to create? Under this organization, because under this organization, I can add multiple users. So those users can be part of this. So the other users who are not part of this organization, they cannot access your repository. Only the 1,000 users who are part of that organization can access this repository. So for that also, I'm doing like this repo, right? My repo, something, my repository, right? My repo, private repo. I'm initializing this, create a repository. So now, under which organization this repository is? Under which organization this repository?
KC DevOps Batch 20.
Okay. Now, this repository is under this organization. Who is the owner of this department? Chaitanya. Who is owner of this repository? Chaitanya. Now, Chaitanya wants to add someone to this repository. So if you want to add someone to this repository, that person should have GitHub account first. Yes, okay, that person has GitHub account. Then Chaitanya first has to add that user to this repository. Organization, then add to this repository. Okay, first let's go there. Let's go to this repository settings, branch, not branch. I want to add one user, means I want to give, it is a private repository. Other users will not get public and that read and write access. As it is a private repository, any users who knows this my URL, they'll not get read access also. If it's a public repository, at least they may get read access, but it's a private repository, they'll not get read access also, right? So now what I have to do, I have to go to this repository, and I'm seeing here something, manage access, something. If I go here somewhere, I can, who can access? Earlier this, it was showing as collaborators. Here now they changed it, manage access. I want to add people. Let me go and add people. For example, I want to add Raviteja. Raviteja. He said his. For example, let me search my name only. KC Technologies. Okay. See, it is asking invite outside collaborator. Means this person is not part of my organization. You want to invite him only? You want to invite him? Yes, it is asking. You want to give read or write access? I gave assignment, right? So create a repository under our organization, add 2 more people, right? How to add users? Go to this repository settings. This is assignment I gave. Manage access. You invite someone, add someone. So KC Technologies. Okay. KC Technologies. Invite outside collaborator means someone else. He's not part of my organization. Now, after selecting this person, I want to give him read or write access. Read access means what? This person can, this is who is the owner of this repository? This is a Chaitanya repository, right? So now KC Technologies, this person can just view the files inside this repository, but he cannot modify it. If you want to modify it, for that person, I have to give write access. He can add some other users, he can delete some other users, then admin access I have to give. So I said write access. So write access means this person in this repository can read the files, modify the files, delete the files, create the files. Means write access he has. Add this technology. Okay. For now, I'm not adding. What I'll do is I'll go to this. I'll go to this organization. Go to this. I'll invite some person, that KC Technologies. I'll invite to this.
Only any one access we can give, sir?
Yes, only one access. If you give write access, by default, you'll get read access, right? Without read, how can you have write? Yes or no? Okay, I'm selecting this person, invite. Okay, I'm selecting. So as I'm inviting, the KC Technology should be just a normal member or else admin, means owner. Owner means admin rights he will get. He will invite some other people. If it's just a member, this KC Technologies is not like Chaitanya. Chaitanya is the owner of this organization. If I add as a KC Technologies as owner, he also, KC Technologies will also become as an owner. He can add some other users. He can create repositories here and all he can do. But I don't want him like this. If it's a member, members can see all other members can be granted access to repositories. Means as Chaitanya is adding KC Technologies as a member of this organization, KC Technologies, this is this user with this person can see all other members part of this organization. Can be, this person can get granted access to repositories, then can also create new teams and repositories. He can create new repositories as well. But if he's an owner, right, then he'll get full access rights to this administrative access on this organization, and he can do anything like deleting repositories, creating other users, deleting them. He can do anything on this. Means he will get access to all the repositories under this organization. He'll get access to all the repositories under this organization. But in this case, if Chaitanya gives me repository access, then I can do anything inside that repository. But I can create my own repositories also. But here, even if he don't have access, he can do anything in the repositories. Admin user. Okay. 1 second, yes, I am getting a call. Just a second. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay. So this is right. I just want to add him as a member. Okay, send invitation. Now, when he sent this, means Chaitanya has invited KC Technologies as a member of this organization. Now that person has to accept it. Right? Now the person has to accept it. Okay, just let me stop sharing. I'll pause. See, I got a mail like this. Accept the invitation. It is asking to accept the invitation. So now I'm going to join this. I'm clicking on this. I'm clicking on this. Okay, this I have to log out first. I'll take another browser. I'll take other browser. It is not joining actually. So I'll take this copy link address. I'll take some other because I logged in there as Chaitanya, right? I have to join with KC Technologies username and password. Okay, organization we are dividing as a group to group the projects and users, so that users who are part of that organization can access those projects with different access like member or admin access. So it will be easy for the building and I'll get one verification code. If I try to log in again, I'll get one verification code. This is my verification code where it is 411648. I'm verifying it. Now join, it is asking. Yes, I'm joining to that organization. Okay. Now you are member of this organization. Now let me go there. Let me log out from here. I don't want it anymore. Okay. Now if I go here, refresh this. See, it is showing as pending, right? Here it was pending. Now let me refresh this. It will show no pending action, no pendings, because I accepted the request. Now, if I go to this organization, how many people are there? 2. Chaitanya is the owner. And KC Technology is just a member, right? Now I am part of this organization. Now let's go to that repository. We have under this organization, how many repositories are there? Only one. So whatever the repositories, for example, I have 2 organizations. One organization has 5 repositories. The other organization has 10 repositories. So if you get into this organization, it will show only 5 repositories. If I go to other organization, it will show the 10 repositories. Okay. Now I'll go here to this repository as I'm a Chaitanya user now. I'll go to settings, manage access. I want to invite that KC Technologies here. I want to invite this person. Now, is it showing like that? Invite other member, something it was showing, right? Outsider, something. Is it showing? No. I want to give a right access for this person. Done. That's it. I added. Has been collaborated with the right permissions on this repository. That person is part of this repository. Now, Chaitanya is the owner of this repository, and KC Technologies has a right access to this repository. Now, Chaitanya is the owner of this organization. KC Technologies is a member of this organization. Like this, we'll group in real time. We'll create an organization, and for if that organization has 10 projects, 10 repositories will create. We'll have another organization. That organization has few repositories, few projects. For that project, we'll create a repositories. Now, A organization, B organization, 2 organizations, and each organization has few repositories for each project. Now, the people who wants to work for the projects which are under organization A will add them as a members of that organization. The people who wants to work for the projects in B organization will add them as a members to the B organization. Like that, we will add, and then we'll manage the access. Understood, guys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like this is the assignment I gave. Create an organization, create a repository under that, right? Invite them into this your organization as a member, then then give them right access into your repository. That is what the assignment I gave. Right? Understood? Can you do that assignment? This topic was not discussed earlier, so but I gave an assignment, so I'm discussing now. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, one more thing in the assignment, I said A person, B person has to create a file 1.java, file 2.java, like that, right? Don't create empty files. Don't create empty files. While creating the file, you add some content there. Don't create empty files. Note that point. At any time, when whatever I said, A.java, file 1.java, file 2.java, file 3.java, or my file.java, anything it is, while creating, I said just create a file named file 1.java, right? Create that file, but put some content first. Don't create empty files. Okay. Okay. Note that point. Okay. This is about organizations, how we divide that projects based on organization and manage the access. Now, the people who are part of second organization, they cannot see that repositories in under my organization. Why? Because they don't have access. Okay, like this we can manage the access. Next, let me create one repository. Let me create here only. Let me create here for now. Test repo. I'm creating a test repo. I'm creating it as a public repository. Okay, or else you can take it as a this organization also. It is up to you. You can take it as a public repository. Right? For now, let me take here only. Anywhere it is fine, but for now I'll take it is a public repository. Test repo. I'm not initializing this anything. I'm not initializing anything here. I'll create a repository. Now tell me, this is going to be empty repository or like it will have some files inside that?
Empty repository.
Empty repository. If you choose this, read what is this readme, what is this .git ignore, this license, you don't know as of now, but treat them as a normal text files or some files. That's it. I'll explain the meaning of these one later. Just think these are files. If I select this, it will create a repository. That repository will have a file, so you can clone it. You can easily clone that. If you want to get it in local, for example, I'm a DevOps administrator. I'm creating a test repository, right? I'm initializing this repository with a file. So I'll create a file. It will create a repository. Now you are all the developers or testers, someone you want to clone the code. If I give the URL, or else if you have access to this repository, you can easily clone that. Yes or no? We all know, right, how to clone a repository. We did the assignment as well, right? I
Yes,
can
sir.
clone it if it is a repository which has some files, but I don't have a file. It is an empty repository. I'm not initializing anything. That is the reason I said always initialize it with a file, so it will be easy for you to clone. But if I don't initialize any one of this, I'm going to create a repository. Then this is going to be an empty repository. Now, when it is an empty repository, you cannot clone it. Oh God, what to do then? How to use this? Then you have to follow these commands. There is no link between your GitHub and local now. So I'll go here. Okay, let me go here. So I want to clone this repository to my local. There is no command to clone it. There is nothing to clone it. Then what should I do? Is you have to follow these commands. Okay. So I'll create one folder, for example, test folder. Test, I'm creating a test, opening my git bash here. Control plus, oh sorry, not this one. Control plus. Okay, I opened a git bash here. I just created one folder, git bash here. Now what I'll do is, using this echo, I'm creating one readme file. Using one echo command, I'm creating a readme file, and this greater than symbol, two greater than symbols, you know, right? So into this readme file, I'm loading this test data, test repo, something, just readme data, I'm readme.md file I'm creating, and this data I'm loading into that file. Okay, you can create UI or else with the create. So I have a readme file, cat readme also I can do. So this is there. Okay, cat. Okay, this file is there. Okay, this test repo. So I created one readme file here. So I'll show here also. Under this test, readme file is there. Now what I want to do? I want to init a repository. So if I clone it, if there is a repository with one file, I can easily clone it. When I clone it, I'll get one .git repository in my local, right? That local repository .git. But here there is nothing to clone. So I created a file. I want to initialize a local repository. This git init is the command which will initialize a git repository in your local. It will initialize initialized empty git repository. Initialized an repository here. See this git. It has been created. Okay. Next, it has created .git. Now I want to add this readme file, whatever I created in my local, right? That readme file I want to add into the .git repository what I initialized just before. So I created one readme.md file, and I initialized a git repository in my local. That README file I want to add into staging area. Staging area I added, and I want to commit into my local Git. I want to commit into my local Git. A local Git. So okay, committing. So I committed. Can I push this into GitHub? Now can I push this into GitHub? I committed into my local Git. Can I push this into GitHub?
Yes, sir.
How can you push? Is there any link between you? So in my GitHub, so first this GitHub repository has to be pushed into GitHub, but whose account? Whose GitHub account? Either yours or my GitHub account. Is there any clue? No. Even if it is my GitHub account, I will have 100 repositories. To which repository? There is no clue, right? So if you want to push it to GitHub, first you want to add the branch. So this is not required actually. First there won't be any branch. So first you have to specify the branch. Okay, specify the branch. Okay, main branch. Okay, master by default, but we can give it as a main. Nowadays it is treating as main. This is the command where we are going to add the remote origin. Means we are create a link for this local repository. For this local Git repository, we are specifying remote repository URL. Git remote add origin. Go on mute. Origin means this is alias name. This is alias name for this big URL. If you don't want to take origin, you can give it as ABC also, not a problem. But in general, we'll give origin only, right? So I'm adding for my local repository, I'm adding a remote URL, this one, remote repository URL as this one. So this is SSH URL, we know, right? So this is a remote URL. So now I'm creating a link. See, if I type here, git remote -v, what it's showing? Nothing it's showing. Means my local Git repository is not linked with any GitHub remote repository. So it is not showing. Now I am going to add that remote add, git remote add origin. I'm specifying this. So for my local repository, I'm saying, hey, local Git, this is going to be your remote repository. This is going to be your remote repository. Now, when I push something, you push into this. You push into this. So now I'm going to push that. Git push -u origin main. Now I'm pushing it. Now I'm pushing the changes. Okay, this is very important step here. So till here, as it is an empty repository, there is nothing here. You cannot clone it. So what you have to do in your local, you have to create a repository, create a file, add that file into staging area, commit into this local Git initialized, then specify the branch. For this local branch, you link a remote repository, then push the changes. So it has been pushed here. Now if I refresh here, I can see that remote MD here. So here a lot of steps involved. That is the reason I said always when you create a repository, to overcome all these steps, initialize that repository with one readmd. So you can easily clone. But here I created an empty repository. I followed all those steps: initialize, create a file, add, commit, push. Then I got add remote, all these things I followed. Now, if someone wants to clone, I can give this URL to clone. Instead of all this headache, I can simply create a repository with that readmd file. So it will be initialized. I no need to repeat these. I no need to execute these many commands. So I can easily clone. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the steps. So when you create an empty repository, first you have to initialize a repository in your local, then create a file, commit, link it with remote repo, and then push the changes. Oh, 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so you all understood, right? This, when you initialize a repository with readmd, we can easily clone, or any other .git ignore, right? But if it is empty repository, then we have to execute that. Initialize a repository in your local, link it with the remote repository by adding that remote origin, then link, give the URL, and then you can create a link and then push the changes here. Understood, guys?
Sir.
Okay. Now, one more thing, like when you are giving, for example, for this test repository, I want to add someone, right? So while adding here, we'll search here, add people. For example, I didn't remember other names. For example, this person I want to add, for example, right? If I select, right, now we can give different types of access, that is read access, write access. This access part, again, once again I'll discuss. We can create a teams also. Well, I'll discuss this. So for now, right, read access, write access, admin access we can give. Okay, remember that. Okay, I said in the assignment, read access you have to give, else they'll not be able to commit the changes. Understood, guys? Yes or no? So let me go to the document. Don't merge this and all I discussed. Stash I discussed. Right? Okay. Next, I'll discuss something. Rebase is there. I'll discuss about rebase later. First, let me discuss about .git ignore. Okay, let me. That is a short topic I can discuss for today. So .git ignore. While creating a repository, for example, let me create my test repo something. Okay, or else the repository name should be like this in real time. If you are creating for Flipkart dev means this, Flipkart repository. Okay, Flipkart repository we have to create. If Flipkart has different modules like client module, Flipkart -admin. Okay, there are different modules hyphen with this, like this. We have to divide. For example, I'm selecting this as Flipkart admin module, right? So services UI means with this, the application name hyphen anything in the service name, we can give it like this. So I'm going to create it. Instead of readme, I'll explain. I'll use git ignore both. Let me use git ignore and readme, both files. Now, what is this git ignore? This is very important in real time, right? So when this you will understand going forward when we go to Maven, right? So let me explain anyhow. For example, if you're working for a Java project or Node.js project, some projects, right? In your local, there will be some files, which you should not push it to GitHub. Why? Because if you push these files to GitHub, it will corrupt some other's mission. Someone will clone it, right? These files are specific to your local. They have name is same, but the content inside the file is specific to your local. But this person also has same files, but he's specific to local. But if you push the changes here, when the person pulls that changes will come here. This will corrupt his missions repository, So I don't want to push this. And also, based on the type of project, you should not move few files. Means if it is a Java project, .class files, or else like .jar files, .var files, such files I should not push to my GitHub. I want to ignore them. I want to ignore that. Ignore means I don't want to allow anyone to commit those files, to commit and push those files, to commit into your local. When you are unable to commit into your local, you cannot push, right? So such files which you should ignore committing, those files you have to add inside this git ignore. So in your GitHub repository, if you create a .git ignore file and add the file what you don't want to commit, that files your Git will not allow you to commit. Now, how can I know? For every type of project like Java project, Node.js project, every type of project will have some files by default. Few files we should not commit. How can I know for Java what file should not be committed? You don't need to worry. If you go here, just a type for Java, you select it. You select this, create repository. That's it. I'm creating this Flipkart admin right here. A file has been created, .git ignore. Open this. By default, it has the default files, right? What we should not commit it to GitHub repository in Java style of projects. See .class files, which has star.class means any file which has .class extension, any file which has .log extension, any file which has this extension, zip, jar, var. These files, your Git will not allow you to commit the changes. Now, let me clone this. I'm one of the developer. I'm cloning now, right? I'm one of the developer. I'm going to clone the repository. So let me clone it here. cd .git clone. Okay, So Flipkart admin, I cloned it. CD Flipkart. Here, I'll go to this Flipkart. I'll create a file called as admin.log. Oh, sorry. .txt. I have to remove. .log. Now, if I type here, I created this file right just now. Git status. Is it showing to commit? Is it showing to commit? At
No,
least
sir.
is the file is showing? No. If I try to add, even after that, git add admin.log. Is it saying? Is it showing? What is the error message? The following paths are ignored by one of your .git-ignore files. Means your git-ignore file is ignoring that. Means what is the content here? What this file is saying?
Java files.
Any file which has .log extension that should not be allowed to commit. Means any developer, whoever clones, they will not be able to commit this files. .log files, .log files, .class files, .txt. Any with this extension, they should not be able to commit. Understood? Hello? Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
if they want, they can
They can
modify
remove
this
it.
file.
Yeah,
git
they can
ignore.
remove. Yeah, yes, of course, we can modify. I
Okay.
don't want to commit Java files, for example. You go and write it here, star.java. That's it. It will not allow .java files. But first, you should commit this file. For example, if I write star.java here, star.java here, okay, save the changes. Save the changes. Now, if I create a file here,